Aloha, guys. Dr. Tom Walker is coming back at you. And yes, even though I'm in Florida, my heart is still in Hawaii. Okay, we're going to pick up exactly where we left off with our last video. Some abnormal constituents of urine, and we're going to have to move fast because we got two chapters to cover. Albuminuria just means we got too much albumin. Glomerular permeability is wrong for some reason. Glycosuria, sugar in the urine. Diabetes. Hematuria is blood in the urine, inflammation, trauma, disease. Hemoglobinuria is too much hemoglobin. We've got hemolysis going on. Red blood cells are being destroyed. Pyuria means we got pus in the urine. Not a good sign. Infection indicated the pus is primarily white blood cells. Ketonuria, diabetes mellitus, when you have to, very quickly, guys, diabetics have trouble metabolizing carbohydrate because of the insulin issue. So they break down fats and proteins for energy, and the breakdown of fats produces ketone bodies. Bilirubinuria, too much bilirubin in the urine, or bilirubin, there shouldn't be any. Disease of liver or biliary tree hemolysis. Okay, what about if you're not putting out any urine? I'll get your, let's see, scanty urine. Kidneys produce urine, bladder won't empty from anticholinergic drugs or benign prostatic hyperplasia, a common disease. Treatment, catheterization or drugs. Renal suppression, kidneys don't produce urine. Patient develops uremia from the buildup of nitrogenous waste. Then they have to be put on dialysis. Here's renal dialysis. There's a couple different kinds. Uremia is urine in the blood resulting from renal failure. Dialysis removes waste from blood. It's an artificial kidney machine, which you go in and get hooked up to it like 3 times a week for like an hour and a half at a time. You can also do, guys, what's called peritoneal dialysis, where you do it at home. You drain what's it called? I can't think of the name, diacylate or something, into the abdominal cavity, and it filters through the peritoneal membrane. So I knew a guy once that was doing that, but it seems like more of them would do it. I don't know. I don't know what the differences are. After the nephron, let's see, your plumbing, ureters, your urinary bladder, urethra, okay. I looked it up, guys, and there's approximately 1 million nephrons in each kidney, although some individuals only have as little as 200,000, some have a couple of million. Also, too, we filter 180 liters of blood in a 24-hour period. How much is that? It's 92-liter Cokes. That much. And we produce, of that enormous amount, our body is so efficient that only about a liter and a half of it becomes urine in a 24-hour period. Micturition is the word for taking a pee. Bladder field stretches, stretch receptors are stimulated. Signal goes spinal cord, motor signal bladder, contraction bladder, relaxation ventral sphincter, and urethra is a tube that carries it outside. All right. Okay, now this one's going to be a little more complicated, I'm afraid. Body fluids distribution. If you notice, guys, most fluids in the body are inside the cell, 63%. The extracellular fluids, about 37%. Interstitial means just out through the tissues. Blood plasma, lymph, transcellular fluid. Water out, interstitial plasma. Okay, we already said that. Composition of body fluids. That's the extracellular is mainly sodium chloride and the bicarbonate ion. Intracellular is phosphate, potassium phosphate, magnesium. Water intake as opposed to water output. We average about 25 milliliters. That's about 2.5 liters in a 24-hour period, which is, of course, one diet Pepsi and part of another one. Regulated by thirst. Output, we average about 25 milliliters in 24 hours. Leaves via kidney, skin, lungs, digestive tract. All those different ways, guys. Regulated primarily by the kidneys. So guess what? The intake equals the output. Water imbalances, dehydration, deficiency of body water in the interstitium, poor skin turgor, and tenting. You pull up on somebody and it stays up for a while. Untreated, you can go into hypovolemia and shock. Edema is excess body water, usually in the interstitium. Clinical assessment, daily weight, sudden weight gain suggests water retention. Water is heavy, a liter of water, 2.2 pounds. Gallon of water is 8 pounds and something. Fluid spacing, where the water is. First spacing, normal distribution. Second spacing is interstitial edema. Response to treatment, diuretics, excrete. That's when it starts getting out. Excessive water is being captured, I guess we could say. Third spacing, excess water in poorly accessible spaces, like ascites. We talked about that. You can actually have a supine patient laying down. You can push and you can feel that wave splash across under there. Indicates some sort of a problem of paralytic ileus or something in the digestive tract. Electrolyte balance. Review terms. Example of ions: sodium chloride, potassium bicarbonate. Remember, cations are positive. How do you remember? Remember, cats are soft and fun to pet and hold, and they're positive. Anions are negative. Examples of electrolytes. Actually, all these are electrolytes, guys, but sodium chloride, potassium chloride, sodium bicarbonate. These will break down into these constituents. They will ionize. For example, here is sodium chloride. That shouldn't be there. Well, as soon as you dissolve it in, this is table salt. You dissolve a spoon of it in water, it becomes ions for sodium and chloride. Because they have ionic bonds, which are weak. Sodium's chief extracellular cation, regulates extracellular volume. Remember, water follows sodium. You can have too much or too little. Too little can be fatal. If you drink too much water and you get the concentration down too low. I mentioned that before. Potassium, chief intracellular cation. So sodium extracellular, potassium is the chief intracellular. Participates in nerve and muscle function. Hyperkalemia, hypokalemia, too much, too little. Calcium strengthens bones and teeth. Absolutely essential for muscle contraction. Hypocalcemic tetany, if you don't have enough, your muscles can go into spasm. Magnesium participates in nerve and muscle function. Okay, we can handle that. Chloride, chief extracellular anion, involved in extracellular volume control. Again, guys, fluids follow these, in a sense, these electrolytes in an effort to establish equilibrium. Bicarbonate ion, part of the bicarbonate buffer system. Whenever you see buffer, it means dealing with acids and bases. Participates in acid-base balance. A buffer helps diminish the acidic aspect of it. Alterations in plasma chlorine affects bicarbonate ions. Remember, guys, that bicarbonate ion is absolutely essential. It plays a huge role in maintaining the proper pH, not letting it get too high, or the acidic level too high, which actually would be a lower number. Acid base, let's see, acid dissociates into hydrogen ions and an anion. The percentage of hydrogen ion, guys, is what determines how acidic something is. A base removes it from solution. An acid adds to it, which is why it's an acid. pH is the unit of measurement indicating the amount of hydrogen ions in the solution. Here's the scale. We mentioned it before. It's 0 to 14. The lower the number, the more acidic. Higher the number, the more base. Neutral is pure water. Blood is almost neutral, 7.35 to 7.45. It must be kept in this narrow range or you will die. Look, hydrochloric acid in your stomach. Excuse me, guys. I told an individual not to call because I was videotaping. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, look how strong this is, and that's your stomach. It's as strong as your battery acid in your car. Now, ammonia and stuff like that will eat your butt up too. Because it's basic doesn't mean it's not dangerous. Buffer's first line of defense regulating pH. Lungs second line of defense. Kidneys third line of defense. Why, when you're blowing out carbon dioxide at the proper level, you're helping to maintain the proper pH also. Buffers play a big role. Buffers maintain normal pH, always work in pairs. One part of a buffer removes hydrogen, the other part donates hydrogen. Why? To balance it out. Buffer system, bicarbonate, carbonic acid, buffer pair. There are other buffer pairs. Respiratory control. Again, if we're breathing normally and we exhale, as we exhale the carbon dioxide, it helps balance the pH. It's real important. Slower respiration can generate hydrogen ion, which means it makes it acid. Faster respiration can diminish it. If you start hyperventilating, you start getting dizzy, and also because you're blowing out too much carbon dioxide. Balance, balance, balance. Okay, kidney control, renal acid base. Let's see. Kidneys reabsorb or excrete hydrogen as needed. Reabsorb or excrete bicarbonate as needed. Kidneys reabsorb filtered bicarbonate. Kidneys also make bicarbonate. Occurs when the body is acid-base imbalances occur when the body's unable to regulate pH. If it's less than 7.35, said to be acidosis. Of course, this is the blood. Now, the urine has a much wider range. Alkalosis greater than 7.45. Either of these can be fatal. It's very important. Causes of imbalances in acid-base balance: see respiratory, metabolic, respiratory, and we can have respiratory, metabolic, acidosis, or alkalosis. Compensations. Let's see. Respiratory, kidneys, lungs. Okay. Hypoventilation can cause you to develop acidosis. Carbon dioxide retention, like the emphysema, where you're not able, a lung problem where you're not able to breathe properly. Renal compensation, the kidneys excrete hydrogen and reabsorb bicarbonate ion to try to make up the difference. Guys, you'll have to go back over this yourself. Metabolic acidosis caused by, now this is metabolic, which means it has something to do with making energy or diabetes or something. Caused by non-respiratory condition, example, kidney disease, uncontrolled diabetes mellitus. Body tries to correct this condition. Buffer system removes some of the excess hydrogen ion. The respiratory system removes some of it too. Hyperventilation or Kussmaul breathing respirations, which is a special clinical situation. Respiratory alkalosis. If you hyperventilate, what do? You put a bag over the head. I mean, you have them breathe through a bag. Why? They're recirculating that, and they're getting rid of. They're retaining some of the carbon dioxide that they're supposed to retain. Like I said, you're going to have to go over that your own a little bit more. Metabolic alkalosis, increasing pH caused by non-respiratory. Of course, when it says metabolic, because you know it's not something to do with respiration. For example, persistent vomiting can cause you to go into metabolic alkalosis. Why? You're vomiting up too much acid, and you're imbalancing it. And acid overuse. Half the commercials on TV, guys, are trying to talk us into taking stuff for stomach acid. We have to have that acid in our stomach. Is it sometimes cause problems? Yes. But you have to. You're not supposed to not have it. Gastric suctioning, if they pump your stomach out, they suck out too much acid, you go into metabolic acidosis. The body tries to correct metabolic alkalosis through buffers, the kidneys, and the respiratory system. The buffers donate hydrogen, thereby decreasing pH. Kidneys decrease their excretion of hydrogen. Respiratory system corrects the pH by hypoventilation. We did it. All right. Okay, guys. Let's just say that the balance of pH is real important in the body, and you will be in bad shape very, very quickly if it gets out of balance and it stays that way. Remember, the pH of the urine has quite a broad scale, but the blood has to be in that narrow range, or death will ensue. Now, we have a number of mechanisms in the body to help protect that, and that's what we cover these real fast, but the various metabolic and respiratory and the kidney plays a big role. That's why this is included here in the section on the urinary system. Hold on, I gotta get a drink. Okay, guys, go back over it, study it. It's important to know how the kidneys work, how they selectively choose what's to be retained and put back into the peritubular capillaries and what's to be excreted. It's amazingly efficient. There's a lot of people out there, guys, with kidney problems. There's a lot of people on dialysis. It's sad. One of the reasons is diabetes mellitus, which is absolutely an epidemic, is the leading cause of kidney failure. So a lot of these poor folks are diabetics that either gets out of control or they don't attempt to manage it, and bingo, they're stuck with that for what little time they have, a few years. Okay, guys, we're about out of time. Know it, live it, do it, be it. Dr. Tom signing off. We'll talk to you soon.